All right, 1046 now, and this is a story that a lot of you are going to be affected by likely in the next couple of years. We've all heard of stories of college graduates. They graduate, they've got their diploma, and where do they go? Home, moving in, back with the parents. Well, who can blame them with just under 3 out of 10 having a job waiting for them when they graduate? So that's where we bring in some financial planners to get you through it, because you need a little guidance. Edward Goldberg and Brenda Larkin from Goldberg Larkin in West Hartford are here to offer a plan for young people to start their lives as independent adults while offering the parents ways to, I'm going to go off script and just say, stay sane. And I would bet that's a real issue that your clients come to and say, how do we not go nuts during this whole thing?
Yeah, and from a financial planning perspective, it's difficult to deal with because there are just so many variables.
Right,
you know,
right.
how long is the child going to be at home? Is the child working part-time, full-time? You know,
I have friends who are putting their kids in college this fall, and they've already crunched the numbers, and they've factored into numbers that they're going to owe in financial aid when they get out, assuming they get out in 4 years. That wait, which, you know, no parent is going to let a child twist into win, I hope, but the money has to come together, and you have to prepare for this, right?
Yeah, and it's particularly difficult in Connecticut, by the way, where, according to Forbes, the average graduate from the class of 2017 comes out with $38,000 in debt.
Yeah, yeah. Brenda, how widespread is this a problem?
Well, it is quite a problem. This generation is unlike any of the past generations.
Right.
According to the U.S. Census in 2015, the latest data,
Yeah.
a third of all people between the ages of 18 and 34 live with their parents.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's really scary.
Yeah.
Yep. And then a year later, you still have 9 out of 10 people still living at home.
And we're repeating the process with a whole new
Repeating the
crop of
process.
kids. All right, let's talk tips. What do you do? We kid around about staying sane, but what do you do to get on a financial plan?
Well, first of all, I think parents have to be aware of the fact that this can happen. So you have to be somewhat prepared mentally for it. It is, as Brenda referenced, it is a sociological phenomenon. So you have to take that into consideration. What specifically are the financial situation with the child that's moving back home, and how is that going to affect you, the parents?
We want to make sure that everyone's contributing to family expenses, to living expenses. And I love the last one. The tough love approach actually works. Get in, get a job, and get out. Right?
Well,
don't dilly-dally. We also have advice for students. Brenda, take us home with that.
Well, for students that are still in college, students that.
I mean, we're talking. Look at do the investigating for the lower interest rates and.
Okay. So student loans. So if somebody has a student loan and they come out of college with a student loan, there's different ways to get rid of that student loan.
Sooner rather
you
than
want to, sooner than later. So you want to put more money toward the loan, if you can. You want to see if you can refinance that loan so that you can lower your interest rate and maybe make extra payments or get a part-time job.
And the last line, set a timeline, which, as you said before we started talking, the best thing to do is don't do this alone. If you need help, and most parents are going to need help, get help from folks like you, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the timeline, but and I think parents and the children that are living home really have to work together.
Yeah.
Set some goals, set some objectives. Ask the child, what do you want to be in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years?
It's a team effort, and it scares the crud out of me.
Keep that line of communication open.
Lots of questions answered. If you want to talk to them, we'll hook you up with them. Brenda, Ed, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
We appreciate